His was the brightest of 1,000 points of light.
A nation in mourning, a statesman laid to rest, leaving behind a legacy that will live on.
Former President George H.W. Bush honored today in Washington, D.C., and of course, all around the world. Tonight, he's back in the Lone Star State, where he will be laid to rest.
From world leaders who knew him well to those he never met, people around the world are remembering one of our nation's noted leaders. Tonight in Houston, Bush 41 will lie in repose until tomorrow morning. Welcome to 12 News Tonight. I'm Dejani Garrison.
And I'm Lauren Hensley. That was a live look at what's happening right now in Houston. NBC's Blaine Alexander was in the Capitol with a look back at today's services.
After one final ride through Washington with a last look at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, President George H.W. Bush honored for his service that began long before he reached the White House.
Was America's last great soldier statesman.
Inside the Washington National Cathedral, a rare gathering, President Trump and all four living past presidents. The crowd of thousands dotted with foreign dignitaries, past and present, and friends recalling the president's trademark sense of humor.
He loved a good joke, but he never, ever could remember a punchline.
But the most touching tribute from his own son, former President George W. Bush, sharing lessons passed from one commander-in-chief to another.
He showed me what it means to be a president who serves with integrity, leads with courage, and acts with love in his heart for the citizens of our country.
Invoking his dad's own trademark phrase.
His was the brightest of 1,000 points of light.
And offering comfort for the loved ones he leaves behind.
The best father a son or daughter could have. And in our grief, let us smile knowing that Dad is hugging Robin and holding Mom's hand again.
From a family and a grateful nation, a final farewell to the 41st president. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
The tributes are definitely going to continue tomorrow with another public service in Houston. He's going to be laid to rest at his presidential library alongside his wife, Barbara.
In somber times, we often lean on those closest to us, and sometimes they may even help us smile. The former president's funeral was no different, as grieving former President George W. Bush snuck the former First Lady Michelle Obama a piece of candy.
Yeah, this was kind of an inside joke between the two, caught on cam during today's services. It was also seen as a nod to John McCain's funeral when cameras caught Bush handing Michelle, there it is, a piece of candy right there. A sweet moment, and it just shows some friendship on a very somber day. Now, closer to home, educators are working to make sure the former president's legacy is remembered.
So our 12 News reporter Mackenzie Hinkle, she visited with students to see how they're paying tribute to the late president.
Our children are watching in schools throughout our great land, and to them I say, thank you for watching democracy's big day.
That was the day George H.W. Bush was sworn into office. Now 29 years later, students in school are watching him again, but this time as he is laid to rest.
I didn't know that they had a special funeral for presidents.
I think it's important for our generation, this generation, to see a life that deserves to be honored.
James Gerard is a history teacher at Early College High School in Beaumont. He live streamed the 41st president's funeral for his students so they could take in the history.
I hope that they walk away and realize that it is an honor to have these types of individuals serve in our country, and how very blessed we are in this country to have leaders like Bush.
Even the youngest minds went back in time during their history class today.
Everybody in the government is remembering President Bush today.
Fourth grade students at Sam Houston Elementary in Port Arthur spent most of their day learning about the type of president Bush was.
We were watching about his background.
Stuff he did in his life and when he was vice president and president.
Jesus Medina and Lawrence Batiste and their classmates learned new things about the former president, but they both agreed.
What was the coolest thing that you learned about him today?
that he went skydiving.
He had to be full of energy if he was that old.
Young minds, learning about one of the best leaders from America's greatest generation. Mackenzie Hinkle, 12 News.
Oh my goodness. So that was the scene all around the country. At Bush Elementary in Houston, students paid their respects today by wearing lively socks to honor his love for wearing colorful footwear.
And by the way, the former president was in his 80s when he went skydiving.
Isn't that something else?
So even universities are paying their respect. For the remainder of the school year, sports teams will place a number 41 patch on every Texas A&M Aggies uniform. All varsity athletic teams will either wear a tribute helmet decal or a uniform patch to honor the memory of the former president.
That's so cool. Now, we want you guys to see the rest of the plans for his services. Bush will lie in repose tonight in Houston at St. Martin's Episcopal Church. Tomorrow, there will be a private funeral service also at St. Martin's. Then he will be buried at the Presidential Library in College Station. And 12 News will have that coverage for you.
So we've been getting a lot of feedback. Everybody's saying what a beautiful service this has been today. Sure, a lot of hashtags out there. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the president has to say on social media. President Donald Trump says he's looking forward to being with the Bush family. This is not a funeral. This is a day of celebration for a great man who has led a long and distinguished life. He will be missed.
Now look at this incredible photo of Bush passing by the White House one last time. NASA astronauts tweeted this throwback pic of George H.W. Bush standing with a group of astronauts. Cool stuff. We know he loved to be in the air, and something to leave you with a smile. You heard it from the students here in Beaumont. One of the coolest things, according to them, Bush celebrated his 75th, 80th, 85th, and 90th birthdays with a parachute jump. Such an amazing man.
What a zest for life.
Right. Now, as we head to commercial, we're taking a look at powerful and amazing man that the former president was, George H.W. Bush.
George Herbert Walker Bush was America's last great soldier statesman.
We want Bush! We want Bush! I believe it will be said that no occupant of the Oval Office was more courageous, more principled, and more honorable than George Herbert Walker Bush.
I can report to the nation, aggression is defeated, the war is over.
Every single head of government in the world knew that they were dealing with a gentleman, a genuine leader, one who was distinguished, resolute, and brave.
I said, Dad, I love you, and you've been a wonderful father. And the last words he would ever say on earth were, I love you too. Through our tears, let us know the blessings of knowing and loving you. A great and noble man, the best father a son or daughter could have. And in our grief, let us smile knowing that Dad is hugging Robin and holding Mom's hand again.